Welcome to the pod. You're listening to What the Reality with me, Kasha Roberts, and we're back with another Toxic Tuesday episode. We have so many reality topics to talk about. Atlanta Who? We are talking Next Gen NYC, Below Deck Med, Chris Brown is about to go to trial. We got to talk about Diddy in solitary confinement, and we got to talk about the big Nic and Olandria. I don't know why I said it like that. Olandria breaking up and, them trying to cancel her again. Make sure if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you give this a 5-star rating and leave a comment. Welcome to the pod. You're listening to What the Reality with me, Kasha Roberts, and we are back with another Toxic Tuesday episode. We are actually being very proactive today. It is a Sunday. You guys know I do not film on Sundays at all. Unfortunately, that means no Real Housewives of Atlanta episode. We're not talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta. And honestly, who cares at this point? Like, I don't even want to talk about them because it is so predictable of what's going to happen on the show. It's going to be another Shamia versus Portia show. And honestly, I don't even want to hear about it. So today I'm being proactive because I have a very busy ahead of the week. You know, it's my birthday. Do you know it's my birthday? It is my birthday a week from when you'll be listening to this. My birthday falls on the Monday, so it'll be obviously it's August 3rd. I don't know why I just didn't say that. So the following week I will not be putting out a show because I will be in Detroit. In true cachet fashion, every birthday, I don't care where I'm at, I'm going somewhere besides Cleveland. Like, I live in Cleveland, so I try to get away. For my 25th, I started this tradition, so I'm turning 27. So I've only been doing the tradition for, this is going to be my third time now. So when I turned 25, I was in Vegas, which was hot. I promised to myself I would never, ever go to Vegas ever again during August heat. It was honestly insane. It just was not worth it to me. Also, guys, I have an amazing glow right now because I just did one of my favorite face masks, Biodance. Shout out to them. Um, and then for my 26th, which was last year, I went to Mexico, Cancun. Okay, I do remember talking about that on the pod. Cancun was just a trip for the books. Like, I want to go to Cabo. Maybe I'll go to Cabo next year. Ew. I don't know why I'm talking about next year. Maybe I will go to Cabo though, because I just like Mexico and I hear Cabo is like a whole other vibe. Cancun, very fun, very intimate, and I just had a blast in Cancun. So this year it's going to also be another intimate trip. I'm just going with my one friend. We have been talking about doing a quick trip, just a quick getaway, literally this whole summer. Not even like we were talking about this in the spring, like we just need to drive somewhere. And with me just moving into my first apartment, everything, the funds is a little different than they were last year because I was able to really plan and save for Cancun and stuff. And then this, I was kind of like saving for my apartment and stuff. So I knew this trip was going to be a lot different than last year. Even though I spent a very good amount of money last year, I got a lot of buck for my coin. The economy is obviously worse. And it's like, if I'm going to spend that much, I'd rather go international. So I'd rather not spend as much. So this year I'm going to Detroit, which is literally like a 2.5 hour drive. The hotel I'm staying at is the reason I'm going. Okay. I'm not going to say what hotel I'm staying at yet. I'll say what hotel I'm staying at after I've stayed there. The hotel is gorgeous, though. That's most of the reason I'm going to Detroit, because you're like, what's in Detroit? Detroit's actually up and coming. Hey, Aaron from Real Housewives of New York. Detroit is very up and coming. I went to Detroit last year. I was in Detroit. Even just the downtown and everything, like, it's very up and coming. It's very nice. I will say the city's really nice. I wanted to go to Chicago this year. I was going to drive to Chicago. I don't know how people do it, but I'm like 5 hours, 6 hours to drive to Chicago. Gas prices are insane. The flights were insane. Keep in mind, Chicago's literally the next state. I mean, the next city over for me. I hear it's cheaper to go to Chicago during the week, but like obviously during the summer it's a lot difficult. I just wasn't trying to catch a flight anywhere. And then I was going to do Toronto. I might still do Toronto eventually, like next year or something. I wanted to go to Toronto because the last time went to Toronto, I was 18 and I was having TMI, the worst cramps of my freaking life. Um, Not even funny. Like, I've never had such bad period cramps to that point where my father asked me, was I pregs? Was literally still a virgin, but whatever. Yeah, I had the worst cramps. So I gotta go back to Toronto. I gotta rerun it to Toronto because I did not have a good time in Toronto the last time I was there. And yeah, I wanted to go back, and Toronto's actually only 4 hours. Obviously, it worked out. I didn't go to Toronto because they're having their wildfire issue. So good thing I didn't even go to Toronto, honestly. So yeah, and then that left Detroit. I'm not about to go to no Indiana, no St. Louis. Like I wanted to go somewhere that was practical. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna drive for a good 2 hours and a half. And Detroit really got some stuff. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm excited. I'm excited because one of my favorite wines, St. Julian, their wineries and distillery tasting rooms are in Detroit. So I'm really excited to do that. Like, I'm like, low key, there's like some very good gems. I'm also really excited to go to the Lip Bar. Y'all know I'm a beauty girl. Follow me on TikTok. I've never tried any of the Lip Bar products, and I'm excited to go to her flagship store and get some lip liners, some lipsticks. This is a Black owned beauty store. This is a Black owned business. And I talked about her. I've talked about her in my articles and stuff, like when I'm talking about like Women History Month and everything, or Black Owned History Month, and I like to talk about like the beauty products and stuff. But the Lip Bar, she went on Shark Tank and infamously was denied because she wanted to make colorful lipsticks for Black women. I'm talking like blues, yellows, greens. And she was infamously denied. This is a woman that used to work on Wall Street in New York. She quit her corporate job. Well, she didn't quit. She started making her lipsticks in her kitchen in New York City, started making these killer formulas in these outlandish colors and selling them to women. And then it got to a point where she was making more in her sales out of her kitchen than she was at her Wall Street job. So she literally left Wall Street, moved back home to Detroit to open up the Lip Bar after not succeeding on Shark Tank, but she knew she had like an idea and a vision there. Obviously Shark Tank is just like for the investors and stuff. So they obviously told her no. She didn't let that deter her, and she created the Lip Bar, and it is like this huge thing. I want to go to the flagship store. I just want to go to the store in person and see it. I just love seeing that type of stuff, and I feel like it will inspire me because I've honestly been in such a creative drought, you guys. Besides the podcast, like it's the only bandwidth I have, but I also blame it on summertime. Like whenever it's the summer, I feel like I'm in school and I just want to like let loose and like not even worry about anything. So I really haven't been contributing to my newsletter, and I'm also trying to see if I want to like move it to just Substack instead of LinkedIn, or I don't know. Like I don't have the energy or the creativity or the bandwidth right now to really type and write out my newsletter. Like the creativity's kind of lost, and like I'm not inspired by any of the beauty products that are dropping right now. So I'm in a weird space right now with the beauty world. I'm just like, I'm trying to get my personality back in that, but it's like I had to take a beat. It's always like go, 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 go. But yes, so I'm excited. Detroit actually has some things. I'm really excited for the Lip Bar and the winery distillery tasting room because that is my favorite wine. That wine, you can get it at Meyer. You can get it at really just Meyer, and I get it from a farmer's market local to me. So, but you can get it at Meyer, but it's only like $10, $11, and you do not feel hungover. Speaking of hangover, before we even get into the show, we're just doing a quick little life update. I have been trying Skinny Girl Marg from Bethany Frankel, and I don't think I'm going to drink that anymore because whatever happened Friday night, I'm recording on Sunday. I had to recover all Saturday. Like, I understand I'm inching towards 30, but like, I don't understand why I had such a massive hangover if I stuck to Prosecco my whole night on Friday. And then something dawned on me. I've had these 2 bottles of Skinny Girl Marg in my refrigerator, and I've been trying to low key get rid of them because I need more space in my refrigerator. I've been trying to make more room, and I'm like, I got these little bit of Skinny Girl. I had the original, and then I had the white peach, and it was obviously for entertainment purposes. But me and my friend were about to go out Friday. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just finish this. I have these little cute teacups that I got when I moved in, like little cute. Obviously, you should use it probably for like coffee or like espresso, like an espresso shot. I use it for the real shots. So I was just sipping on my Skinny Girl Marg. The Skinny Girl Marg is supposed to be low cal, but I think with all the syrups and everything to make it low cal is really sugary because whenever I drink Skinny Girl Marg, I get like a hangover. So I literally felt terrible yesterday. And I'm like, the Prosecco don't do this. Like, I can drink Prosecco all day and feel fine. It was definitely giving Skinny Girl Marg whenever, and it reminded me the last time I had it, or whenever I like even pregame with it or drank it a little bit. Like, I swear I was hungover. So I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry, Bethany. I cannot support that anymore because I was feeling hungover, you guys. Like, yesterday was a struggle, and I still got up, still was active. I still went to my friend's event yesterday. Um, I just don't even know how I made it though yesterday. Like, I was so hungover, and I'm like, this is not the life. Like, I swear, ever since I turned 24, 25, I feel like ever since I turned 25, I've been getting hangovers. And so I try to watch what I drink. Like, I know how I get a hangover is something super sugary. So that's why when I am going out, I try to stick to like, just tequila, club water, and extra lime, or I stick to like Prosecco or wine. That Skinny Girl Marg, you gotta have just one of that because even me finishing the little bottles, like I had a little bit left. Like I feel like it was probably like 2 shots worth of both, but I didn't want to toss it out because I'm in this phase now where I'm paying for stuff and we're gonna use everything up. Um, because of that, I had 2 technical margarita shots. I just think my body couldn't handle it. Also, I don't think I ate enough Friday. So yesterday I was definitely feeling it. I'm recording today because I'm getting my hair retouched. And actually, my hair actually looks pretty good on camera, but I am getting the roots touched up because, my birthday. And for Detroit, I want my braids to just look nice and fresh. And then there's some hair pieces I need to get retouched up. So I'm recording today on Sunday because tomorrow it's not a typical Monday for me. Like, I'm already gonna go into work a little later to get my hair and everything figured out. And then yeah, it was just giving, I'm not trying to miss 2 episodes back to back. So I'm like, let's be proactive. Sunday, we're vibing. I do have a day party I'm going to later. But I'm like, you know what? Let's be proactive. Let's get an episode out. And that unfortunately means that I will not be recapping Real Housewives of Atlanta. And honestly, who cares? So today I am going to be recapping Next Gen NYC and Below Deck Med. We're going to be talking about those 2 things because there's been a lot going on. But I think perhaps the first news we have to start with in the Housewives universe is that Whitney, Rose, and Justin have announced, I don't know if they've announced their breakup yet, but it's being reported that they're living 2 separate lives, like completely. This is the breakup I did see coming. If you could ask me which breakup, I've been saying this for so long. You can ask anyone that I talk about Bravo stuff with. You can ask my mom. Like, I have said it from the jump since I've watched Salt Lake City. I said the first breakup on that show, the first scandalous one, besides Bronwyn, because I think we all knew with Todd that it was giving Who's Todd. On Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I was like, Whitney is trying to push this constant narrative that her and Justin are not in a good space. And every time I watch the show, he acts like they're in a fine space. But it was giving to me that she was ready to leave this man because she resented him. As soon as he wanted to invest in her business, he's like, you need to give it these investors. They drive Wild Rose Beauty underneath the ground. And my thing is, that would be difficult for me to move on because are you still mad that you got fired from your job from showing your 2 whole cheeks on camera? And because I think their relationship has been off ever since the 2nd season because he got fired from his job. And so he went from being the breadwinner to now he's not the breadwinner. Now she's the breadwinner. And now he's contributing around the house and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? What Charlie say? a house husband. Oh my gosh, we got to talk about Next Gen NYC. Charlie and Georgia, I know they're supposed to be the villains, but I actually love them. They are made for reality TV. So yeah, I kind of already knew. So now it's being reported after 16 years, that they are no longer together or they're living very separate lives. I would not be shocked if Whitney comes out with a woman, because she's been very open about that, or if she has a new hot thing on her arm that's like can pay for stuff. I think I'm not shocked. I'll tell you what was shocking. Angie and Sean. I'm still shocked by that. That's what was shocking for me. So that's two breakups so far. What we do know is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, they've already finished filming. I think they're in the editing room. I don't know if editors, now that this news is coming out, is going to be highlighting stuff. But what's really annoying is that we're going to be watching two couples pretend like everything's okay when it's clearly not. It's going to be like the Brahman and Todd show. When it's like we kind of knew Brahman and Todd were never okay. So it'll be really interesting to see how this honestly plays out. And yeah, I don't know. Am I shocked? No. Are you guys shocked? Another headline, another breakup, I guess we could say, is Nic and Olandria have announced that they are no longer together. And who would have thought the folks would have been insane? To be honest, I caught this as well. I don't know if I just had like a strong intuition this week when I saw the whole Trinity and Bryce people cover, which honestly, if I was Trinity, I would be upset because one, why are you putting me in this floral dress? And two, why didn't you make sure my hair was blended before I took the picture? There's a picture and her hair is not blended. It looks terrible. Regardless of that, I saw the people cover and I was like, I wonder at what point is Nic and Olandria's contract kind of over? Because now it's been a year. And typically, when you're in a showmance, a PR relationship, because that's what it was always giving to me. And it's like, I like them aside, but I could definitely recognize that was not a romantic relationship. That was a relationship for the PR and for the success of the show. Everyone was rooting for Nic and Olandria. They call them swirlers, and now that has carried on to Trinity and Bryce. And I think that's why I'm so like hesitant with the whole Trinity and Bryce thing, because I think when Nic and Olandria is like, yeah, like you could tell like he low key like liked her, but I don't think Olandria was ever like romantically like interested in him. And the people, we're gonna talk about a couple of things because Love Island USA, there's like 3 different seasons of drama going on right now. So we're going to talk all about that. So Nic and Olandria, they have remained great friends. And yeah, they're just no longer together. I don't think they were ever together though. But I'm like, clearly you got to keep up your appearances. Trinity and Bryce, I hope you guys can't hear my washing machine. Trinity and Bryce win, and I'm like, okay, now there's a new couple, a new clear, in my opinion, PR couple that everyone is trying to push. I'm not buying it. And I don't even know if I bought Nic and Olandria. I was just so happy for Olandria because I just felt like her treatment that season was terrible. Her and Shelly's treatment was terrible. Like it was so racist, and it was all in defense of Huda. So I was actually like really happy that Olandria just like, and I really resonated with Landry. I've talked about this before on my pod. Like she was on a Zoom call and she's like in her corporate job and she's like, what am I doing here? I need to answer the call for Love Island. I wish Love Island was calling me. They're never going to call me because I talk so much crap about it now. But I'm just like, that's literally why I resonated so much with her. And I just wanted this amazing life for her. So Olandria and Nic are donezo. And now people are trying to cancel them, but it didn't even work because she just dropped a photo shoot and then Vogue's posting her and then she got another campaign with Victoria's Secret. So the attempt cancellation still didn't work, which is so hilarious to me because I'm just like, they're like, and you really thought they were together. I don't know who thought they were together. I know they have some diehard fans, the same diehard fans for this Trinity and Bryce stuff. I won't be shocked when a year that's announced they're not together because I know that's not Trinity's type and I know that's not Bryce's type. I do think Nic initially liked Olandria though. Like he had been dropping little trinkets all along. I don't think Olandria ever saw him like that though. But so it is kind of like, you know what I mean? I don't think she ever saw him like that. Regardless, they're not together. The people are like, oh, our faves are still together. Of course, I have the one TikTok saying Taylor and Clark aren't going to work out. I mean, there was a video of him possibly like cheating or like talking to another woman. And now people are going to run that video back up and see like, well, Olandria and Nic are done. I never said that they were in a serious committed relationship. I never believed them. So I don't care. I don't care. I never, just because I said I don't like Taylor, and I don't even dislike Clark, but I do think Clark be moving mad. I'm just going to say it. And it's like she be going back and forth on a lot of stuff. I do think that just because I had that opinion did not think I thought Nic and Olandria were an actual serious couple. Like, I don't know who thought that. It wasn't never me. They've announced their official breakup because the contract expired. You heard it here first. Or I don't know how many people have said this. Their contract expired. And I'm okay with that. And you too should be okay with that. I'm still going to support Olandria. Nic, you will be fine. He's a DJ now. You know how that goes. Moving on to another Love Island issue, because the Love Island people are nonstop right now. So now we're going back to Love Island season 6. Well, now we're talking Kenny and Janae. Kenny did an interview. I don't know who wanted him on their podcast or why they even thought that was necessary. Kenny has done an interview with a podcast talking about the breakup with Janae. So essentially what I gathered from it, I did not watch it, but I did read the Reddits on it. Basically, they would have a lot of, they would argue a lot. And you know what? I kind of believe it because I was watching Beyond the Villa and I was just kind of like, it's not there. And I feel like Janae, maybe a little delusional, but you got to be delusional to like get the things you want in life. But I just didn't see the romance. Like at first I did in Love Island when he was like literally crying after she didn't want to talk to him. But I did think Janae was tripping because like you only known this man for like 2-3 days and then it was like, oh my gosh, I'm not talking to him again. I don't know. Everyone, I loved Janae, so I wanted her to win as well, right? I was probably a little blinded by them. But then watching Beyond the Villa, I was just kind of like, eh. And then during Beyond the Villa, it just highlighted so much of their issues. They were kind of like always arguing, or it was just like they didn't communicate well. And I just didn't see it. And I was shocked because I think I talked about this on the pod. When I was watching Beyond the Villa, I was shocked that Leah and Miguel had such a deep, intimate connection because that was a relationship that they didn't even highlight on Love Island. And she has spoken out about that because they wanted her and Rob to be together. They wanted them to get back together. So when she was like, no, I'm not doing it, and she was actually getting to know Miguel, which we felt like was out of nowhere, we were kind of like, oh, they're not going to last. But they're like moving in together. They bought a house together. Don't shoot me. I'm kind of shocked Serena and Cordell are still together just because I know there was an age gap. And then I am one of those people that were just kind of like, Serena, you're kind of playing this man. Like, this man clearly likes you. And I couldn't really tell if she liked him or if she only liked him once he found a connection in Casa, because I feel like she was looking for a connection all up into that. Either way, they're still together. Love them. Black love. Janae and Kenny, though, I genuinely was like, okay, this moved very fast, but like I can see it honestly working out. Fast forward to Beyond the Villa, they have these weird arguments, and it's like he'll go nonverbal. You can tell she's a very verbal person. It was just some weirdness. And then the whole, if they're gonna stay in LA just to film Beyond the Villa for that summer, why wouldn't you want to stay with your partner? So they literally got apartments like back to back from each other. So it's like, why wouldn't you just live together, especially if production's gonna pay for it? So that was kind of weird. Obviously, we know there was this big blow up, and then they had to edit the Beyond the Villa ending to those breakup rumors and everything. But basically, she found a group chat of him, and he was calling her slurs and like laughing about it with a group of people, his friends or family. So now he has done an interview or a podcast. I don't even know with who. Like I said, I don't know who would give him the platform. I don't know. He's saying that they would argue a lot, and I'm not gonna lie, I could believe it. He said they would argue every 2 to 3 days. And then she, I guess, went through his phone one night and got in his face and like hit him or whatever. He was scared, like, whoa. And yeah, I guess she went through his phone and he asked, well, let me go through your phone. She didn't want him to go through her phone. and he called the cops, and he hasn't seen her since. I guess he sent her a letter about how much like he loved her, but how he genuinely felt. And he said they would have multiple conversations throughout that relationship about how like it's just not working. And I guess she never got the hint. That is what Reddit is saying. That is what Kenny is saying. Obviously, we do know Janae has spoken out now about it. She's saying, I've never physically assaulted you, and I will be getting my lawyers involved. I don't know why I don't know why he's even went on a podcast to talk about this. He's also going to be hosting a meet and greet. And then I also find it weird how in the podcast he's basically like, I never wanted to be famous. It's like you're hosting a meet and greet, and then it's literally in the text messages of like you thought you would be getting paid more to be with her. So it's definitely giving you had an angle and you got caught slipping, but she clearly suspected something, and I think what she found was worse than what she thought. I think she thought he was cheating. So like maybe he was cheating, but like finding like these slurs and stuff. And that's one thing he also did not address in the interview is like, were you calling her slurs and stuff? Because that is something that is honestly not talked about in the podcast. He just said, I know I'm not completely right and like I've done some things wrong. So I'm like, is it giving you still called her a slur? That's the real question that I have for it. I feel like there is something else going on in the Love Island hemisphere and I cannot remember. No, I think that was it. We have some celebrity topics before we move on to Below Deck, Med, and Next Gen NYC. We have one more Bravo topic before we get Next Gen NYC. I do want to talk about one more Love Island topic. Oh my gosh, I just had to look at my notes. Casey and Tiara dropped this amazing photo shoot. Obviously, they were in Inglewood. They were on that iconic street where Lauren London and Nipsey Hussle did theirs with like the plants, the palm trees and stuff. I think it's not in Compton. Is it in Inglewood? It's like an infamous street. A lot of people do their photo shoots. They did that, and then they dropped a they dropped a not a podcast, but they dropped a YouTube video, and they dropped a YouTube channel, and they are basically interviewing each other. And they are addressing all of the hate and criticism they got. They're talking about brands jumping in on it. And what kills me is that there's people that dislike them that have tuned in to make TikTok videos about how annoying they are. I'm like, we know you don't like them. Why are you watching their video? It's just like, it is very weird. I don't think I will ever talk about Love Island on TikTok again. Because if you're not with like one team, the wars are crazy. It's a really insane psychological um experiment, like how after season 6 or during season 6 has kind of like birthed this whole nation of insane psychopaths. They go insane during the summer. They have their faves, their stan wars. It's a very interesting human experiment, how people's behavior. It's definitely a different type of audience than Housewives. Like Housewives, like how I feel like Housewife fans are a little reasonable, you know? I just feel like Love Island fans are not. So there's people that are actually tuning into theirs when it's like, this clearly wasn't for you, right? And they're creating these minute long TikTok videos spewing hate for them just sharing their opinion on their YouTube. I will continue to say I don't know what anything Casey has done that has made him public enemy number one. I said he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. I honestly didn't even want him coupling up with a black woman because I just didn't want that because I knew it was about to become something, because I know how people are about the black women and I love that. But it's like in the same breath, you're tearing down black men. And I just don't think he's ever done anything that crazy. Was he talking a little shit? Yeah, but they all talk shit in there. I don't think he was ever like disrespectful towards her or anything. I just think people were upset because I think they wanted that black couple to win. And yeah, but Casey and Tiara, they did their own podcasting. I think their YouTube channel is up to 50K subs. So I love that. Just talking about like the backlash and how it's important for them to tell their story. And I think it's a really smart move on them instead of going on someone else's podcast for them to just post it themselves. And then you're talking about like the racism, and how it's even coming from Black people, the whole photoshopping. So they address all of it. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it because I am removed from everything Love Island right now. Like I said, I just report on the headlines because at this point I am fatigued out, and this always happens. I'm always super fatigued. Keep in mind, I'm still watching Love Island UK. Their finale is the 29th, which I think is Tuesday, or their last episode, I think. Is it Friday? I think it's the 29th. When is the 29th? Oh, it's Wednesday, maybe. Maybe that's when it is. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm fatigued out from Love Island. So that was happening. We have to talk about Chris Brown. So Chris Brown did plead guilty to that London brawl. Do you guys remember back in like 2023, he, I guess, was involved in an altercation. I have this article from CNN. Oh my gosh, when we have to talk about ESPN, I told you this episode, it's gonna be a lot of like rapid fire reality topics because I feel like sometimes like I just talk about like housewives and like what's going on TV. But versus this week, obviously I'm not talking about Atlanta, but we have so many reality topics to get through because there's so much news going on right now. So we had to talk about Chris Brown. We had to talk about ESPN as well. So Chris Brown, he pled guilty to the London nightclub brawl. So basically, this happened back in 2023. Like I was saying, Brown 37 made the change of plea. So at first he was pleading not guilty. So now he's pled guilty at a hearing in London Southwark Crown Court. Keep in mind, he's on tour. He had to just pay his housekeeper like $10 million or something because she got mauled by his dog. I don't think, I'm not like this, like, oh my gosh, like if you're associated with Chris Brown, if you go to his concerts and stuff, I view you differently. But I just don't think this is a good guy. I think he's constantly drugged out. I don't think he understands what's going on. Do I have Chris Brown songs in my discography, in my playlist? Yes, I do. Does he have bangers? Yes. And I try to separate the artist from the person, but there's constantly something going on with him. And at the end of the day, you got to say, like, this man is not well. I think he either needs to sober up or he needs to, because a lot of this stuff be happening while he's under the influence. So basically what happened, they're saying he literally just started fighting this guy for no reason. So Brown's friend and his vocal coach, Akenololo, also pled guilty to a fray. The two men have been due to stand trial in October. So they're literally going to trial. I don't know if he's going to go to jail. I don't know if he's facing prison time. I don't know if this is going to get in the middle of the tour. So Brown had denied attacking Abraham Dial with a bottle at the Tape nightclub in the swanky Mayfair neighborhood in February 2023. But prosecutors said the fight was caught on surveillance camera in front of a club full of people. This was a vicious and unprovoked attack by Brown and Akinlolo in a crowded nightclub where Brown used a glass bottle as a weapon to strike the victim's head twice. This kind of violence is entirely unacceptable, and the Crown Prosecution Service will work tirelessly with the police and partners across the criminal justice system to pursue cases like this and prove that no one is above the law. Brown had been free on bail of $6.75 million, which allowed him to tour Europe and North America last summer. He was freed on bail again Friday and will be sentenced October 2026 on the fray charge, which carries a maximum sentence of 3 years in prison. So he could be literally facing 3 years of prison time. Like I said, he's currently on tour, so I don't know how that's going to get in the way with that. October is literally around the corner. As soon as August ends, it's kind of like September, October, November, like, and it's like end of the year. Like, it honestly flies by. Yikes. Yeah, so he's just a violent person. I just think Chris Brown is a violent person that needs anger management and therapy. He has a repeated history, and I'm not even talking about the Rihanna stuff, of just being a violent narcissist. And I don't know, you're 37 now. At what point? That's why I don't really talk about the Rihanna stuff, because I'm like, that happened when you was 18. I think it happened when he was 18, 20. Like, I get that. They were in a very turbulent relationship. physical. They were both beating on each other. Do it make it right that he struck a woman? No. But that was a toxic relationship. So I give him grace for this 18-year-old, this 20-year-old that's doing some crazy stuff. You was now 37, still doing the same stuff you was doing at 20. You was a physical person. And so it makes me look at Usher differently because, first of all, Usher didn't speak up on the Diddy situation, which we're about to talk about. And then second of all, or he had nothing negative to say, which I get to a point, but it was just kind of like interesting. And then now you're on tour with him. And I'm like, Usher, you for real could have just went on tour again or did your residency. You were on such a high from doing a residency, a residency I feel like I should have been at. And now you're on tour with Chris Brown. And it's kind of tarnishing your name and making me look at Usher differently. And if you know me, you know I love Usher. Like I have loved this man since I had eyes, okay? At birth. Like I love Usher. So him being on tour with Chris Brown, I get it, the R&B tour. But it makes me look at him differently. Speaking of Diddy is now in solitary confinement, thank the Lord. So I guess he was involved in a prison fight. I don't know who's selling their footage from prison to TMZ, but I know they have a lot of money on their books now. So Diddy basically got into a fight with a fellow inmate at his federal lockup in New Jersey and ended up in solitary confinement. Multiple sources tell us, this is a TMZ article, that Diddy went toe-to-toe with another inmate this week inside FCI Fort Dix. They're told things got heated after the inmate dissed Diddy, who then decided to take matters into his own hands. They got into a scuffle, started pushing each other and throwing jabs. TMZ is told Diddy, quote unquote, hold his own. During the brawl, which was quickly squashed by prison staff who separated both men. Other sources say Diddy was immediately tossed into the hole at Fort Dix. It's unclear if he's still in solitary as of this morning, but he could be facing more long-term consequences for the alleged fight. He was slated to get out of prison in February 2028, but that date assumes he earns credit for good behavior. So obviously it's like fixed upon how good his behavior is. Obviously the solitary confinement issue could be putting a wrench in that. So his prison day might be, even further delayed. So this was breaking. We're going to move on to ESPN very quickly. And then we have like 2 housewife topics before we get into Below Deck and Met. If you guys made it this far, please make sure you give me a 5-star rating and a comment. I haven't had a new comment or rating in like a while. So if you're on Spotify, if you are on Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast, please give me some ratings and leave a comment, whether you like it or hate it. Mostly when you like it. ESPN literally just fired a bunch of high profile people. And a lot of these high profile people did not see it coming. And one of these high profile people was literally in the middle of his show when the firings were released. So Ryan Clark, who is Black, I believe. Isn't Ryan Clark the Black one? Yes, and he was in the middle of his show. So he just did actually a podcast episode or like an interview episode because he was literally laid off while he was on air. Like the news was released that he was laid off, which I just think was really interesting. So they fired him, Carl Ravitch, Cam Newton, Tom Pelissero, and Bart Scott. So yeah, Cam Newton's crazy because I listen to his I listen to the Cam Newton show, but I don't know if that's through ESPN. I will watch it on YouTube every once in a while when he has like somebody that I want to see. Like I'm watching the one with Spice, the Jamaican singer right now, but previously I've watched the one with Poor Minds. I love the Poor Minds girls, and I've watched like a couple of the celebrities and stuff he had on there. So ESPN, this is from USA Today. ESPN is continuing its latest round of layoffs this week, with the network letting go of broadcaster Carl Ravage. Two people close to the situation confirmed to us to USA Today on the condition of anonymity because they're not authorized to speak publicly on personal decisions. Ravage has been with ESPN since 1993 and was the lead play-by-play voice for its baseball coverage. Ravage called the game between the Los Angeles Dodgers, yada 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 yada. Ravage is just one of those laid off as NFL analyst. Ryan Clark was also sent packing in an ongoing announcement of terminations that impacted various on air personalities. Clark, a former NFL safety, also worked on Monday during an appearance for NFL Live and was told midway through the broadcast that his services were no longer needed. Imagine you're literally working and then midway, you're like, your services are no longer needed. The Athletic reports that the network planned to lay off Clark on July 21st. The timetable was pushed up as the network wanted him to hear the news in person rather than read it over online. I wonder what Cam Newton is gonna say. Um, I don't think. Okay, so what's causing these ESPN layoffs? Everyone in the that's why I'm like when people are like, "Oh my gosh, do you regret your degree, media and professional writing?" Low key, because I got into these when the business was booming. 2017, 2021 is when I went to school, and as soon as COVID and then like the rising of AI after that, the media industry and now the writing industry, two of the most, they would say beneficial careers, at least writing. Like, it's good to have a writing degree. AI is doing that now, and they're really adapting to how people write and stuff. Like I said, the biggest thing has been like, if you use an M dash, they're saying you use AI when it's like I was using that beforehand. And I think that's also where a lot of creativity is now getting lost, because it's like you really can just go to chat GPT, articulate what you want to say, and it's like right there, versus like we used to literally have to sit here and think about what we wanted to say and what we wanted to write. And so the loss of creativity is literally getting swallowed by AI. And then keep in mind, these companies are seeing that with the AI, so they're laying off these people. So why did ESPN lay off all of these highly successful, high profile people? Employees at ESPN and NFL Network are having to deal with the harsh reality of corporate consolidation. ESPN's acquisition of NFL Network earlier this year is what's triggering most of the jobs cuts being executed this week. Okay, so they're saying it's because of that. They're not going to say it's because AI and they're getting other people to do this stuff, or they're hiring one person to do a bunch of stuff, hiring younger. But I guess that's what happens with consolidation. While most of the job impacts are tied to the acquisition, we will also notify colleagues in other parts of the company today that their positions have been impacted. So this is like beyond high profile people. They're laying off a ton of people. Um, Really sad. Really sad. What else do we have going on? What else do we have going on? Let's talk about some housewives, and let's talk about that Roni trailer. Real Housewives of New York possibly have found their formula. They went back to the lab. They got rid of Bren, Uba, and Jenna Lyons, and they brought three new housewives and Carol Radzwell back to return, and she's holding an apple. And then we have Cy, Aaron, and Jessel that are continuing with the reboot of the reboot. I saw the trailer and I was genuinely happy. I think Roni may have found it. We're in an era of new housewife shows. We got the London. I still gotta watch that on Peacock. Which I feel like they need to like broadcast more, because I know it did really good in Haiyu or whatever. But they need to talk about it more. We have the Rhode Island. We have Atlanta revived, right? So we have these three new shows that are kind of like really new. I'm really upset that Miami's still on pause, but Beverly Hills is still continuing on. Beverly Hills needs a break. They need a long break. So, and then we have, am I forgetting someone? No, I think just the succession of Rhode Island, such a new housewife show. New York had a lot to live up. New Jersey is very revived and new. They're only bringing back Dolores, Teresa, and Melissa, and I might give that a try, you know. This Roni trailer, you guys, was so good. And I don't know, it was just giving like, okay, this is what we need. So we do know that's returning September 8th. What did you guys think of the trailer? I'm very excited about it. I'm excited for the dynamics. And it just seems like no one's here to really like worry about their image. I feel like previously, and I talked about this, Jenna Lyons, like you could tell she was like embarrassed to be a housewife, but it's like you wanted to be a housewife. Well, they also got rid of Raquel, which I'm not upset about. And then I feel like Bren was just always trying to get into some antics. And then we obviously had the whole Uba situation and Bren situation, which was just super dark and just not good. So I think it was just good that they were like, you know what, we're gonna get rid of you guys and Jenna and Raquel, and we're just gonna start it fresh, new. We need a facelift. Devin Simone's gonna be on there. I talk about my love for Devin Simone. I might do a deep dive on her. Her lore is intense and crazy. I'm gonna start doing my deep dives again. Once fall hits, the summer I like to really play and have a good time. But once fall hits, I'll start posting my deep dives again. And those might be like Patreon exclusives. I don't know. I'm trying to see how I want to do that. But I'm really moving my format to just like Tuesday to weekly shows with bonus episodes will be the deep dives on Patreon. So Devin Simone's going to be on there, and I'm hoping she eventually gets to be a housewife because I think she would be a really good housewife. She used to be on The Challenge. She's a millionaire matchmaker, gorgeous black woman, and she definitely represents New York to me. And she knows like a lot of high profile people. Martha Stewart made a couple of cameos on there. So that was that. I'm really excited for Roni. And so that's premiering in September, I think September 8th. And we also have the Golden Age. What is it? The Golden Age of New York. So, and they're going to be in Florida. They're going to be in the Hamptons. That's going to be Ramona Luann, Dorinda, Kelly Bennett Simone, who was just involved in a crazy car accident. Good thing she's okay. And then who else is on there? Sonia. I don't know where that's going to be airing. I'm hoping it's going to be on Peacock, but I know NBCU and E, or like there was some break off, so they're not together right now. So I'm hoping we're going to be able to watch that on streaming, on Peacock, on Hulu. We got to be able to watch that somewhere. But the Roni trailer, I'm giving it its tens. It looked very, very good. Moving on, Kay, Real Housewives of Potomac, well, former Real Housewives of Potomac, she is engaged. I really thought it was a pregnancy announcement because if you go to the slides and you see like there's like a picture of them like holding her stomach and it says God's timing is always right. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she's pregnant. The way the comment section was so confused, you guys, none of us knew what the F was going on. We were like, are you guys married? Are you engaged? Are you pregnant? Carlos Kings was in the comment section. I think Andy Cohen was. You're like, congratulations. Like, what was that announcement? I'm glad for Kay because there is no one else besides Kay that has wanted Greg more than ever. I don't know why she was so hung up on him. I hope they do make it to the aisle, and I hope it ends. I hope it goes well for her. I made a shady TikTok post and I don't care. I was like, this is everything she's ever wanted, and it is. I don't know why she's been so thirsty to chase Greg of all men. He has kids. And he was low key disrespectful to her. He was a lot better this last season, but it was very aloof. Like it was clear she was waiting for the ring, and he gifted her the picture frame. And then it was just like, I just don't believe in like, if you literally have to force a man to propose to you, lead him to the valley, to the water. I just don't believe in that. I'm just like, he should want to do it on his own terms. And I always feel like they always say women control who they want to have sex with, men control who they want to marry. And I just feel like she was literally forcing him, like, hey, you need to put a ring on it. I mean, it's like, hey, I get it. You guys have been dating for a minute, but you guys were on and off. And yeah, I didn't see a relationship that I aspired or that I wanted for Kay. And I was just always shocked because I'm like, Kay, you're a baddie. Like, why are you pressed about this man? And this man, I think he's like a very young kid. So it's like, I don't know. And then it just looked like none of her family, her fine brother, her brother and her mom was not fond of Greg. Like it was very the situation, the situation. That's all of our reality topics. I literally spent 50 minutes talking about it. Let's talk about Below Deck and Next Gen NYC, going into Next Gen NYC. So Ariana was on Watch Heaven's Live with Kristen Doty, who looks amazing. She's lost a lot of her baby weight. She's smaller now. She has said she's smaller now pre baby because she was already like a little bigger. The drinking, I'm telling you guys, when you're just sitting around drinking, that stuff starts clinging. Like you gotta play extra hard. If you're gonna drink, you gotta work extra hard to keep those calories off you. Even though she's a vegetarian, like if all you're doing is drinking, like literally. So I do know she's on a drug losing she's on a drug loss thing, a weight loss drug, right? So she's on that. And then she's also she looked like pre-Kristen. She looked like herself. So Ariana did reveal on Watch Up Live two things, that her and Hudson are back together. They're working it out. Hudson's about to, I don't know if they're going to be together by the end of the season, because it was like, they just dropped that mid-season trailer and it was amazing. Next Gen NYC, I made a video, or I was talking about this on the pod a couple of weeks ago. I was just kind of like, is anyone watching it? Like, I just felt like nobody was watching it. It had a slow start, but it's really ramped up. It's pretty good. So I was just saying, I don't know if anyone's watching it, but like I said, it's gotten really good. So I guess her and Hudson are back together. I don't know if they're going to continue to be together when it gets to, you know, what was revealed in the trailer. It looks like she either hooked up with, what was the one guy's name, which I'm just shocked she's even interested in. And then it looks like her and Charlie may have hooked up. And then she also revealed that Riley has not talked to her since that episode came out. And she's unfollowed her. I don't know why Riley's upset. Riley showed her whole ass. Like, I don't know why she's upset with everyone but herself. She should really be upset with herself. She showed her whole ass, but I'm like, you took accountability. But I think for you to even try to switch the narrative that, it was Ariana that probably should have protected you or should have made sure it never even escalated. I'm like, you're just like, it's kind of showing how entitled she is. And yeah, it's not a good look. I wouldn't be shocked if Riley doesn't come back, or if they're doing a Next Gen Atlanta and she'll want to be a part of Atlanta. um it's not a good look not to take accountability, but I give Riley grace because she is so young and she's 23, 24. Like, that's just certain stuff like you're not gonna get, but as you get older, it's not cute. But I'm also scared because Candy, she was the only child for a while, and I've been peeped Riley's game. Like, when you can tell, like, just kids on reality TV. I've always said Riley kind of had like a bad attitude. And Candy kind of just let her get away with it. But I think it's because that's like her only kid. But it's like, I can't speak on how Candy mothers and stuff. But at least from what we've seen, even when Todd would come in the picture, Riley's continuously had like kind of like a bad attitude towards like just things. So I don't know. I think she's coming on very entitled if she's upset at Ariana and holding Ariana accountable. We gotta talk about these housewife kids. The housewife kids were they were the ones that moved the needle for the show, right? Are they needed on the show? I would say Ariana contributes a good amount. I could tell she's a good person. Does Gia and Brooks contribute anything? No. But Riley's obviously contributes something because everybody's talking about it. Brooks is not necessarily on the show, but he's a lot fitter on the show than he was on Salt Lake City. But it's kind of like, I don't know. Brooks is I just sometimes feel like he's a tryhard. We got to get into Charlie reading Brooks for filth. And it's like, you can't like Charlie or Georgia, but they are necessary on the show. Those are people that are born for reality TV. So now you got the two villains beefing with each other when they used to be friends. But now you got Charlie telling Brooks that nobody respects your dad. You don't even respect him. He's a freaking house husband. That was funny. Amira, because I know Amira as an influencer and I've seen her on TikTok, I was a little hesitant with her because I'm like, oh, is she going to kill her about her image too much? And now it seemed like she really don't give an F because she is leaning more into that don't F with me and all this stuff. She is going off when Georgia then told her that Charlie said that regardless, your man is gay because, insinuating because she's a man at birth, her boyfriend's gay. So even though she's a transgender woman, she's a woman. I mean, you know what I mean? So now there might be issues with her and Charlie. She went off on Charlie. She be going off on Georgia. The people that aren't housewives, they show up to play. That aren't housewife children, and it's really interesting to me. Even Ava looks like she's kind of playing more into it. Ava right now though is about to figure out if her man cheated on her or not, and then I feel like as soon as she confirms that, she's about to be cool again with Charlie, because the only reason she wasn't cool with Charlie is because he was making comments about her body and stuff, but he was like, it was a flirty friend and it was disrespectful to her relationship. I guess her family didn't like how Charlie would talk about her either. But I guarantee you, as soon as she finds out, I'm excited for this next episode, because she said she don't even know she can call him her boyfriend. She's like, I'll report back when I have something. I guess he went away to film some movie. I don't even know why Ava's with him. Ava clearly not with him because she's been seen kissing and making out with Kyle Cook. But she's apparently she's about to find out if her man was cheating on her, and it's giving he was. So I'm waiting for that, and I'm assuming once she finds that out, I think her and Charlie are going to be cool again. And I think it's really interesting how her man was like, I don't want you being friends with Charlie anymore. He's disrespectful, when it looks like her man has been the one that's been disrespectful. And that's how you can always tell a man is up to no good, because it's like, you over here complaining about me being disrespectful when you're the disrespectful one all along. I'm very interested in what happens with that. What else is going on? I'm like losing track because, guys, I just bought a griddle and I'm about to make me a little Sunday breakfast. I just bought me some banana mix. I'm so excited to make me some banana pancakes and bacon. Because I'm trying to fuel up. But what else is going on? I just think Next Gen NYC is really good. I literally resent the fact that I said, is anyone watching that show? Because it is warmed up. So we got a lot of things going on. Gia, though, I just don't think I like Gia, but she is funny. She thinking Shy is into her, and this man do not care. This man do not care. Gosh, just got an email from Apple about an increase. Somehow though, you guys, I'm still on a student membership because my student email still works, and I graduated literally 5 years ago. So I don't even pay the adult one. I pay the student one. They're like, damn, this girl is still in school, like whatever. So either way, $5.99 to $6.99, that's not bad for me. Um that is so funny. Every time they have me renew it, I'm able to renew it because my university email still works. Like, I still can sign into that. So it's giving student for life. I wanted to talk about Below Deck before I close out. Below Deck Med is the highest rated Bravo show right now. Like at 0.930, like 0.93 million viewers. They're not, housewife shows aren't even pulling that in. And it's so crazy to me because this reminded me at BravoCon, or this reminds me of Eddie from Below Deck. He used to work with Captain Lee. He's remained so outspoken. He said Below Deck cast, they get treated so much differently than the housewives or the other shows like the Southern Charms, the VPR at BravoCon and stuff. They get treated so differently by Bravo, and he doesn't even work for Bravo anymore ever since he's came out and said that, because he just felt like they get treated differently. And it's really insane to me because they pull the best numbers. And it reminded me of that when I saw that I follow like something on Twitter where they show like the ratings for like the episodes or whatever. So, if you're pulling in numbers like that, I don't see how you're getting treated differently. But I believe you, because I feel like a lot of people sleep on Below Deck, but I guess not, because people are watching it. But no one, I guess like us content creators, we don't talk about Below Deck Med. And I think Below Deck Med, like one time, I used to be obsessed with it. And I think it was just last year, I went back and I like rewatched every single Below Deck Med season I had watched from Below Deck Med, Below Deck Down Under, like Below Deck Sailing Out, which I don't think is coming back at all because of the whole issue over there. But they're pulling in some huge numbers. These last 2 episodes have been crazy because of the whole bed sheet thing. It looks like Luke is now thinking about quitting because Nathan is just so disgusted with him. And it's difficult when you lose that trust. So we do know that Captain Sandy did write him up. I don't understand why Jen doesn't have any repercussions either. Maybe because like it was his stuff on the sheets. But I also feel like if you work in laundry, you should be like, hey, let's take these sheets off. Like, you can't leave that there. But the fact that he left it there for 3 days, I think it is better off if you probably just quit, because it's already going to be on your record for a lifetime. If you try to get anything in this business, that is so many, like, you're supposed to have respect for your bunkmates, as they call them, because this is how you live when it's on below deck. This is how you live on these boats. So if someone can't trust you in their living space, I think it would be very difficult for him to get a job. I don't see him working on boats after this, because this is going to follow him. This isn't just a show thing. This is a disgusting character flaw. And yeah, it's giving he's probably going to quit, but it's giving she was already putting the filter out for a new deckhand. Yeah, because how do you trust someone after that happens? Like, how do you literally trust someone? It probably would have been better off if they saw it happening now versus someone telling them, because yeah, you're scared regardless. You're not gonna, I don't see him finishing the season. I do not see him finishing the season. But like I said, I think Jen also should be facing some repercussions, because you knew this was happening and you were joking about it, and you are a stew girl, or what are they called, stewardess. You should have definitely prompted him to take them sheets off ASAP. Like, obviously he's a grown man, but you working in laundry and not seeing those sheets come through, you should have been all up in there. You should have been up in there like, we need to take these off, because it's just like, that is like the most foul thing ever. It is the most foul thing ever. Like, but that's what's happening on Below Deck Med. I I will not be posting a episode the next week. Because it'll be my birthday. So I will see you guys in 2 weeks. I'm so glad I was proactive. Maybe I'll do like Sunday. Maybe it's the vibe to film on Sundays every once in a while. We don't need to recap Atlanta. At this point with Atlanta, it started so strong. I still think season 16 was a lot better because there was a lot going on. But I needed Brett to come back. But she's also apparently like facing something. Like, she's saying that her husband stopped paying, and she is like, no, she basically cannot afford certain stuff. You know, we got Kelly's situation. Kelly and Shamia were just at the Falcons baseball game, or they were at some baseball game. I don't know what they are in Atlanta. They're not the Hawks or the Falcons. I don't know if they were throwing the first pitch or whatever, but they were there. They both looked amazing. And yeah, I will see you guys in 2 weeks. If you've made it this far, please, 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 please make sure you leave a 5-star rating and a comment where we listen to on your podcast. Until the next time, I will be a year older and wiser the next time you see me. Bye.